Welcome to Whiskey Movie Club. This week, we're drinking bourbon and talking Spider-Man Far From Home.
But as long as there is whiskey in the world, we get to drink away the heartache.
So Spider-Man Far From Home. All right, let's just give our initial thoughts on Spider-Man before we dive into spoilers. That way, if someone hasn't seen it, they can decide whether they want to see it. P.S. You go fucking see it because it's really good.
So what are your thoughts then?
So, my thoughts? It was really good. No, it's, these days the MCU can't really go wrong, actually. Like, I can't remember the last bad MCU movie. I mean, there's some that aren't as good as others, but we've had 3 Spider-Man movies in the last year, and each one is fantastic. That's not including Spider-Man popping up in the 2 Avengers movies.
Civil War and
I think
Endgame, Infinity War.
This was a lot more sentimental than I thought it was going to be. A lot more emotional, and really funny.
Yeah.
I agree. I really enjoyed just the playfulness and the fact that he is a teenager and he wants to be a teenager, but he's also torn with trying to, like, he wants to save the world too. So that, I like that.
Yeah, it was really
dynamic there.
It's understandable why they say this is the closeout of the what is this, phase 3? Phase 3 of the MCU?
Something like that, yeah.
Is it 4?
3 or 4.
I don't know. This phase
Who can keep track?
It's the end of the
Saga.
phase.
It's the end of the Infinity Saga, which, when I first heard that the last of the Infinity Saga was going to be Spider-Man, not Endgame, I was like, well, that's weird, because it's called Endgame.
Yeah.
Should
You think
end.
it would end with the big one there, right? You know, it's all been building up to this, and they're like, oh, and also this extra one on the end.
But this actually deals with the consequences, the fallout of the snap, or what they're calling in this, the blip. The blip. And really,
later.
yeah, more.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that once we get into spoilers. Yeah, if you haven't seen Endgame and this is spoiling it for you, why the fuck are you watching this review? But never mind. Yeah, this really dealt with the consequences of what happened, and Spider-Man trying to live up to Tony Stark. Like, Tony Stark, both metaphorically and physically, is all over this movie. You see murals of him. They talk about it. It's like his presence is there.
Right. Well, and I think that was a big part of it. Just dealing. Well, I guess, sorry to backtrack here a little bit. I guess my initial thoughts on it were I really liked it, and which I was really glad that I did like. I really, really liked it. I liked it a lot more than Homecoming. Just in general, going into it, because we were saying we've had several Spider-Man movies, including Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Homecoming. He's had a major role in the last couple of Avenger films, Captain America, Civil War, and then even before that, we've already had the 3 Sam Raimi films, the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield. I was just kind of like, and I had consumed a lot of
Spider-Man.
other Spider-Man cartoons and comics as a kid. It was kind of like wanting something a little bit new and refreshing. But overall, I had a good time. So not going into the movie as excited as I think I wanted to be, I still had a fantastic time. I left the movie like feeling really great about it. So
This movie does a great job capturing what it's like to be a teenager.
Absolutely.
It felt very kind of, it had a Goonies, kind of like a Breakfast Club type vibe.
Yeah.
The characters are believably in high school, unlike some of the other Spider-Man movies. A little less so.
A little less so. But it also touches on like the weight of having these, you need to step up to the responsibilities of this world-ending of like kind of catastrophes and things, and you got to shoulder on that you're more than just a high school kid. And he's like, well, I just want to go on my summer vacation. I just want to have a good time with my friends. I want to hang out with this girl I like. That's his kind of character plot of this movie. And everyone else outside of him is saying, hey, you can't ignore these other things going on. Trying that life balance as a kid was something I don't think really successfully got touched on in previous Spider-Man movies, which was fantastic.
No, like, I don't know if you felt like this in high school, but like when you're a senior in high school, now I know they're not seniors in high school in this movie, but there's this feeling like, oh, you're an adult now. It's time to step up and be responsible. And this kind of captured that feeling. This is also a really charming movie. The story is very contained. Well, I mean, they travel, they bounce around Europe like a Bond movie would. Very comically, actually. More on that in the spoiler side of the show. But it's just a really, really charming small story.
Yeah.
Kind of like Ant-Man did in the first Ant-Man or the first Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, but it still feels connected to all the major
Oh,
events of
absolutely.
everything else. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like some of the other Marvel kind of, like what I'll call Marvel one-shots, where they're just like their self-contained thing and it happens, and they kind of like make a weird like wink at the camera reference about like the bigger Avenger movies, where they're like, well, ever since the incident in New York when things happen,
But this
you're
movie
like, yeah,
doesn't
just-
work outside the rest
Yeah.
of the movies. Like you, if you see this movie and you hadn't seen
At least Endgame.
Endgame and / Infinity War, and you hadn't really seen the previous Iron Man movies, you're going to be a bit lost, especially since there's, I guess it's a mild spoiler, there's reference to extras in the first couple Iron Man movies. Let's jump into spoilers, but before we do, let's just gauge this. 1 to 10, where do you rate this movie?
Probably an 8.5 maybe.
Nice,
Pretty
yeah.
high. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's
Yeah.
definitely worth seeing. It's a great
It's
summer
not.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. I completely agree. 8.5 probably, yeah.
I'd go as far as say it a 9. I really like this
Whoa.
movie. I think it hit all of its beats really well. I didn't have a whole lot of criticisms on it at the end of the day. I think I could see myself rewatching this movie over a lot of the other Marvel Universe stuff.
Yeah, I'll be rewatching this a lot more than Endgame.
I think this is one of those movies, and I think one of us had said it before the show, is that it knows its place, it knows who it is, it knows what it is, and it's aware of itself a little bit.
I have mad respect for movies that know exactly what type of movie they're making, and they don't kid themselves or anyone else. And this is, to me, it's kind of like, well, this is a totally different movie. It's like the movie Chef, another Jon Favreau movie. Although Jon Favreau directed that one. It knew exactly what it was making, and it did it perfectly. It wasn't trying to make the next Gone with the Wind. It wasn't trying to be this big. It was just this really great small story. And this is, to me, is the same thing. It knew what it was, and it did it perfectly.
Agreed.
So, if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you have seen it, let's talk about spoilers.
Sure.
Let's just dive right in. Mid-credit sequence.
Oh, we're gonna
jump right there.
Let's get this,
Jump right there.
Rip the Band-Aid off,
Let's
get
just rip-
straight into
Yes,
it. Gotcha.
because that, to me, like, the movie is amazing. I love the movie. But, like, it kind of threw a wrench in the whole MCU. Not a wrench, but it's changing things up a little bit.
Sure.
Like,
Mid-credits was the J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes.
was the what?
J. Jonah Jameson cameo. That was mid-credits.
Right.
What are those? Who's that?
J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah, is that
From
the...
Spider-Man. He's the newspaper editor.
Yeah.
Normally he's the
Sorry,
newspaper editor.
Yeah, it's J.K. Simmons.
J.K.
J.K.
Simmons.
Simmons.
Yes, where they out Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that was actually one of my favorite parts. Was J.K. Simmons as Alex Jones, screaming
Right.
into the void.
And I've seen J.J. Simmons. Sorry, J.K. Simmons.
Simmons, yeah.
J.K. Simmons
Not
played
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Jonason. So many initials.
A lot of J's.
J.J. Jonason, like, that character has been kind of moved into this sort of, like, radio, like, talk, like, personality thing. I think that was kind of the hook in the Sony PlayStation 4 version of Spider-Man. They had his character, like, would pop up on the radio being like, this Spider-Man menace is blah, 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 blah. It wasn't... They kind of have taken the whole, like, well, newsprint isn't kind of the way people consume their news
Right.
media anymore. It's all... the internet, it's, XM radio, it's whatever else. That's how people get their news feed to them. And Sony / now Marvel have kind of done a good job of being like, yeah, if some guy was printing out a newspaper about, the menace that is Spider-Man and how he's a danger to society, people would be like, whatever, I don't read the
Right.
newspaper. Like, people barely watch, broadcast television anymore.
But if they're shouting at a
yeah,
webcam,
but they're shouting at a web camera, they're going
10
to take
million
it.
views.
They're going to take it as gospel, right?
Well, that's a really interesting theme about this movie. We'll get back on the post credits, but I think this is an interesting theme about fake news.
Mm-hmm.
That was with the using the drones to fake footage or fake
Sure.
what you're seeing. What you're seeing isn't real. To me, it kind of played a lot into the whole idea of deep fakes, like what you see on the internet, what you see.
You can't always believe what you see.
Like that's going to play a big role in the next election. And to me, that's what this was largely about: was fake news and deep fakes. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it played a lot into, how we perceive things through, the lens of cinema and news and TV and, Mysterio, saying lines like, well, people believe what I tell them. Like,
Right.
people, it's easy to fool people who are already fooling themselves. Like,
It's a great line.
there's just so many things of like, oh, if you already want to believe something, it's easy to believe a lie that feeds into that story. And I thought it had a lot of good plays on just media and like movies in general. There was the same line where he said, nobody cares anymore unless you're wearing a cape and shooting lightning out of your fingers. And I thought that was a bit about like, we have to just always make these over-the-top action blockbusters now.
Oh, yeah.
All like, Marvel cinematic
I hadn't thought
giant
about that, yeah.
like things, and it's just because like, oh, a mid-budget movie just kind of doesn't go see. People don't go see something awesome like Lady Bird because there's all these other, action superhero movies out all the time. Those are the things that gets attention. Those are the things people talk about, and so I think a lot of the metaphors worked on multiple levels. Which is something I really liked about the movie, which is why I think I could go back and rewatch it and think about it from different perspectives and view it through different kind of lenses of these metaphors. And I think that was something it did really well.
I mean, I keep saying it was a really charming movie, but like every scene, there were little moments that were like, what's his face?
Tom Holland?
No, Tom Holland's great. I loved J.B. Smoove.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Like, honestly, the only thing I would change about the movie is let J.B. Smoove be more J.B. Smoove with more lines. Because basically, with the exception of him talking about how this ain't my idea, that was really bad.
Him
J.K. Smoove.
and, what's his name from...
Martin Starr.
Yeah, Martin Starr.
Yeah.
The teacher.
They were fantastic. And the dynamic between them was great.
Can we get a web series from Marvel? Marvel, if you're listening, I want a web series where you put the two teachers on a cross-country road trip. Please, I would.
Oh,
no
yeah.
superheroes,
Or even
no
if
magic,
just
maybe
like
witches.
Blu-ray. I was saying like even just like
In the
Blu-ray
teacher's
like
lounge.
extras, like the bits they were doing with like Thor and his roommate or whatever.
yeah.
Yes.
Like, I just watched those guys like in the teacher's lounge.
Yeah, just like chilling.
Okay.
talking about like.
Well, the
things.
best line in the movie is him saying, like, as a man of science, it's witches.
It's witches.
I would say some of my favorite parts of the movie are parts of Tom Holland playing this teenager Peter Parker who's just really wrapped up on just trying to tell this girl he likes how he really feels about her, to the point where he's like got this like 7-point plan of
Right.
like, cool, first I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get her this necklace, and it's going to be the black dahlia flower because it's her favorite flower because the murders, and it's going to go through, and then we're going to go to the Eiffel Tower, and we're going to go to the top, and I'm going to give it to her, I'm going to tell her how I feel, and then hopefully I'll kiss her. It's like, who has not at least thought out, if not written down, some sort of plan of being
all of mine were way
okay,
more elaborate. Involved
Very
fireworks.
elaborate.
yeah, like I'm
Right.
gonna go on this
Very
date with the
relatable.
girl, and we're gonna go like this, and it's gonna be perfect, and everything's gonna go, and then you go there, and you like
Nothing.
fumble your way through, being like, "Hi, I'm Travis."
Yeah, if your date even shows up.
Yeah,
Right.
she's just running 4 hours late. I'm sure it's fine. I better call her again just to make sure she's not stuck on the side of the road.
Yeah, you're a comic book guy, so you knew how Mysterio, like, what was
Yes,
going to unfold with
yeah.
him. I knew because someone told me that he's a bad guy, so I knew going in it was going to turn. But did you?
I'm not super familiar with the character, but I thought he was a bad guy. So going into this, and he's like everybody's buddy and hero, and I'm like, how are they going to turn this around? So that's kind of where I went. I was kind of middle of the road. I thought I knew he was a bad guy, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, I had no idea how he was going to turn to. I just knew he was going to be a bad guy. But like Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in this is
So good.
perfect. It's almost as perfect as his beard.
Has he been in something between this and Nightcrawler?
He pops up all over the place, and he doesn't do a lot of like his worst movie is Bubble Boy, and I loved that movie.
I mean, that was still pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot.
I haven't seen it in a while. It may not age well.
What I liked about his character
No, 'cause they
here.
make fun of Indian people in that.
Oh. What I liked about his character here is that I think he legitimately liked Peter Parker and liked
Buzzsaw. I wanted to see that.
I think he liked Peter as a person,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
he had to get him out of the way because he's going to stop his plan or whatever.
And
But
that's
I think he was rooting for him in some
MCU
form.
does does really good, generally speaking, with bad guys. They're generally well motivated. You understand where they're coming from, and I think, I mean, despite
Well, since like Black Panther, they've really done a job
yeah.
like rounding out their villains to being like villains you almost kind of like feel bad that their plans didn't go well. Like you sort of are rooting for them.
because I mean I do. What's Mysterio's name in this? What's his real name?
Beck.
Beck.
Quentin Beck.
Quentin Beck. Like I understand. Like he wants to be a hero. He thinks the world is better off with him as a hero. Rightfully, he didn't think Tony Stark was worthy to be Iron Man, which is true. And this movie deals a lot with the shoes of Tony Stark, and Tony Stark not even be able to live up
Fill
to
the
those.
shoes. Yeah.
But like Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, like at the end when he dies, like I felt really bad.
Oh yeah.
Until that mid-credit sequence where they,
You're like you did
Yeah.
you're an asshole.
What a dick.
But yeah.
And Melissa Tomei, I had a crush on her when I was in high school, and that has not changed.
I liked her and Happy's dynamic a little bit, and how it threw Peter off the different points throughout the film.
Well, they got the banter between two people.
So good.
Oh,
and
God.
that like where you obviously know what's going on, but like no one's wanting to like verbalize it out loud. So
And
it's
Peter's
just
like, what just
I
happened?
I'm gonna go. Like
Right.
And like, I mean,
Yeah.
again, like, John Favreau, perfect.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
did-
John
he did
Favreau was
really
amazing
good.
in everything. But
yeah.
one thing that threw me throughout the movie, but it was explained later on, was I was like, man, Nick Fury's a dick in this movie.
Yeah.
He's just cantankerous. He's mean. And then at the end, you realize it's actually not. It's Ben Mendelsohn who's. But thank you for putting him. You can't have enough movies with him.
Right.
He's
I
fantastic.
love that guy. But like, yeah, now you're like, oh, yeah, what was?
Yeah,
you know,
he's kind of like
trying to
be Nick Fury.
Well, Nick Fury's in like, was he wearing like board shorts?
He was
Or,
hanging
like-
out on his like fake beach vacation in space.
and he yelled something like, "Where's my sandals?" or
Right,
"Where's
my
got
shoes?"
Yeah, who's got my shoes? Well, so like when it cuts to him at the post-credit scene and he's on the beach, I was like, "Oh, the CG was so good in this. This looks like shit." It's like, wow, they fucked up this green screen. And then it goes, you're like, "Oh, he's in space."
Right.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, when you see Nick Fury and what's her face, Maria
Hill.
Maria Hill in the car, and they switch to the scrolls, I was like, oh,
Which, I'm presumably, why wouldn't he leave Maria Hill there?
I don't know, maybe she's doing something very important,
Something. She might be also on the station, but
or she's dead.
I would have expected, now that I'm just now thinking this, that Nick Fury would have left Maria Hill there to kind of
supervise and guide
the
things.
Skrulls. Be like, all right, you just kind of help him. He's going to be there, but like I trust you to kind of run things while I set
that's
up my super secret cloaked space station watchtower.
I think this movie's going to work really well on multiple viewings because like you don't realize it during the movie that it's not Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and so things they say thinking back make a lot more sense. Like when Nick Fury didn't pick up on that.
Oh
this was all an illusion.
yeah.
Right.
And then like there's that little banter where he's like, "I knew all along that I had my suspicions," and then Maria
Zero
Hill was like,
yeah.
"No, he didn't."
Yeah. He had zero clue.
And when I first saw it, I was like, "That's unusual banter between them. This is weird."
A little bit overstepping, maybe.
Yeah.
Where do you think that's going to go in the Marvel universe? Is this going to be a Secret Invasion? Is this going to be? Are they just giving him a break so he can possibly set up something, another new agency?
Space adventure.
Yeah. Everything's definitely going into space level threat for sure.
I mean, you look at the after Endgame, basically everyone's going off on the space adventures, except Tony and Captain because they're dead.
They're done. Well, yeah. And in some ways, maybe they're going on the greatest space adventure of all. I don't know what happens.
They're you know what? They're both owned by Disney, so maybe they'll force ghost.
Oh.
Time travel.
You must go to the Dagobah system.
We just got derailed. One of the things I really liked, and it was a good way to explain the age differences after the snap or the
Wait, that made sense to you?
in a way. Let me just. Maybe it didn't make
How drunk
sense.
were you when you showed up? Because I was like, But you're bringing up a really interesting point because that the beginning of the movie was so good.
So the elements of the high school announcements
Yeah.
was one of my favorite elements from the other Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
And there's a whole DVD on the DVD or Blu-ray. There's extras of just
Really?
that the high school video class type of thing, and being that guy who was in that type of class,
Right.
it totally kind of hit home.
Oh, they nailed it.
But for them,
With Celine Dion,
That was such a good way to.
because it opens and you're like,
No, it's Whitney Houston.
He was right.
Yeah, it's Whitney Houston,
My
yeah.
heart will go on.
Yeah.
No, I will always love you.
Yeah.
Sorry, all those '90s movie
yeah,
themes.
it was
kinda-
so cliche.
It's just like a just a PowerPoint montage, like
With
a
a horrible
Windows
transitions.
Movie Maker.
Yep.
hella
thing.
pixelated.
The doves.
And then the dude is
The
sitting there
Getty
all
image
sludged.
stamp in
Yeah,
the
it was Shutterstock.
oh Shutterstock, whatever. Yeah.
They couldn't even
cracking.
get the rights to like
Oh.
pictures of Iron Man or whatever it was.
Which
No,
is-
it was like
just-
flags. or
It's
something.
was
straight up
flags
a high
with
school
candles.
production with
Oh.
zero budget.
Exactly.
Literally
They
ripping
totally did
off
that.
stuff from the internet, Google image searches. It was.
But so the blip, as they call it, you that makes
Okay.
sense to you.
Okay, I understand where they were trying. I think I understand where they were trying to say with it, but where I was going to go with where I started here was
Before I rudely interrupted you.
right, man. It was. I liked how they set up the explanation with having the morning
Oh,
announcement
yeah.
explain
Oh, yeah.
that. So I mean, so it's 5 years later. They have to repeat school, and
Right.
these are so that I'm assuming the school is a mix of people they went to school with before and kids that
Well,
caught
they
up to
talked
them in
about
age.
How like Brad was some like runny nose kid who had to been several
Right, and then
grades
he
below
aged
them,
up.
and now he's in their grade and he's like filled out and he's like
Yeah.
you know
That's
this
true.
beautiful like
It made enough sense
know,
for me.
teenager or
I
whatever.
bought
It's
it.
like,
I was
yeah,
along
the
for the
girls
ride.
want them, and they said,
Oh, I was
"That's
along
kinda
for the
weird."
ride too. It made a lot more sense than the time travel stuff in Endgame.
A lot more.
Yeah.
But like that was one of the best examples of how to do expositional dialogue like really, really well because it was really funny, it was entertaining, and I did not expect like
For kind of kind of a testament to that, I took my dad to the movie and I like sat down and went, wait a minute, have you seen Endgame? He's like, no. And I was like, there might be some spoilers for Endgame in this. He's like, it's fine, I'm not worried about it. I was like, did you see the last Spider-Man movie? He's like, I didn't see that one either. I was like, okay, I might have to explain some things after the movie, and he got caught up pretty quick on it. So
because
it
it's,
did a
it's
good
such
job
a
of just
strong,
like
emotional like character
feeding
driven
him stuff.
story.
It's a good story, so you're gonna grab onto the now.
I think the only thing he was really confused on was like at one point about the second scene with Aunt May. He's like, wait, that's Aunt May? And I was like, yeah, they made her younger now. It's fine.
Well, that was my reaction in the first one. It was like, "Hello, Aunt May."
Yeah. I think it's Tony Stark's reaction, right?
And Happy's reaction.
And that.
I mean, Marissa Tomei. She's gonna, when she hits 80, I'll still be.
She was fantastic.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, I know I'm being a bit superficial because she's gorgeous, but she also was brilliant in it.
Oh,
Peter Tingle.
so good.
Peter Tingle.
That was so good. She did such a good job of playing that like the parent who's like meaning well, but you're just like, no, just stop, please. It's like, no, that's okay, it's all right. Like, you're just like, it's all right, stop, that's okay, Mom, no. Like, it was good. She did just fantastic job.
When I think the glasses were a great MacGuffin throughout the movie and a great plot device.
They needed something. They needed a briefcase of money, or they needed something.
And it was totally something Stark would do. But when Quentin Beck put the glasses on, is it just me or did it look a lot like Tony Stark?
I think that was
a lot.
intentional.
Of course
Yeah.
it was, yeah. But like, and the scene right after where he gets the glasses and Spider-Man leaves, and then he gets up on the table and it's okay, everybody,
Yeah.
and the holograms go away. Like that was like a maniacal bad guy monologue, but I was kind of rooting for him. Like it was
bit.
like so good and so well done and just so like you connect. I love that they're like, they brought back an extra from Iron Man 1.
Yes.
Right.
Actually, I let me correct myself, or at least check myself. I'm not sure that's the same guy. I haven't gone back to watch Iron Man to make sure that they didn't just fake
recreate it. Yeah.
I would
But-
think it would be.
I would think so too. Even if it's not, it's a really
Yeah.
cool idea, and I like that they added Jake Gyllenhaal, kind of
Yeah.
looking like Steve Jobs with
In
the
the
black.
back,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like you called it barf.
Yeah, he took my life's work and named it Barf. and I thought that was a great scene there for kind of pointing out like all the behind the scenes stuff, especially for movies, of like things that kind of get overlooked in stuff, especially VFX. Over the years, there's been a lot of like call for some recognition on the hard work those people do, and a lot of the times there's people out there like, nah, whatever, I made this movie happen. It was me. It's all me. And you're like, a lot of hardworking people out there.
Are we really going to jump on the VFX bandwagon again? Or not the bandwagon, the rants?
No, I'll keep it short. I then went like, oh, those people are the bad guys in this movie. So I don't know how I felt about it, but
I mean,
at the same time, that does at least help me connect to those characters of like,
totally.
They're just trying to get, their little bit of recognition. They're tired of getting stepped on. Now, their motivations might have been like something I connected with, but then their methods were like, we're gonna go kill a bunch of people and then we'll be the heroes. And it was like,
but you understand where they're coming from.
I get, and I think that's kind of what Marvel's been doing real good with their villains.
The future of the MCU.
Yes.
Where does it go? Now, Spider-Man's been outed as Peter Parker, which I'll be pissed if in the next Spider-Man movie we don't see a reaction from Flash.
Right.
With, you're Peter Parker?
No.
He loves Spider-Man but hates
Spider-Man?
Peter Parker.
He's going to go a full 180 and be like, I've been best friends with this guy since we were 6 years old.
No, he's going to be like, I've been best friends. This is my friend Peter Parker.
Yeah, exactly.
We're best buds.
I've been friends with Spider-Man since the beginning.
Yep.
And Ned's going to be like, dude, get out of here.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
But so he's out. There's no Spider-Man movie slated yet, is there? Like Disney hasn't announced
Not that I know of.
No,
They will. I mean,
they have to be doing.
I would say just that plot line alone could probably set up at least 2 movies just off of that.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if this is setting up the next. I mean, obviously it's setting up the next phase of the MCU, but how much does the Skrulls at the end, basically being Nick Fury on Earth while Nick Fury and Maria Hill and however much else of S.H.I.E.L.D. is off having a space adventure.
Well, real quick, I don't know that they're off on a space adventure so much as that they're building the sword base in like orbit around Earth. So I think it's going to be like, hey, remember how there was like a space station that was just cloaked in the 90s? Mm-hmm. Like we took that cloaking technology and we're building basically a ripoff of like the Justice League Watchtower. So yeah, I think we're going to be seeing some space galactic level threat come the way of the next phase.
Do you think it could tie into with the rumors of possibly seeing like Fantastic Four or Silver Surfer or something like that?
Very much. I think we might be looking at Galactus as the next big bad.
So who is Galactus?
Galactus is a cosmic entity that devours worlds for substance. So we could see like a Silver Surfer like thing introduced in a upcoming movie as the Herald of Galactus, setting up a like, oh cool, they fought off or convince Silver Surfer that people of Earth are worth like living, and he's like, all right, well I'm going to take off and go do my own thing a bit, but be on guard that Galactus is coming for you. You should figure that out. Like that could be a thing. It could be, any of the like cosmic kind of level people. We're looking at Zenron the Tester. Like they could do that in a not so stupid way. That'd be cool. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of the cosmic entities from the Infinity War comic series never made an appearance, so they could still pull from a lot of material there. But I definitely think we're looking at galactic threats from outside now. It's not so much of like, oh, it's a man who was like, I'll get you next time, Captain America.
I think they've tapped that that well.
So I think it's time they're gonna have to go to like next level bigger like things.
So I love this movie. You guys love this movie. This is kind of a must watch. If you've watched this far in the interview, I think you've seen the movie. Any final thoughts?
Super enjoyable. Can't wait to go watch it again.
Yeah, this is gonna be a movie that you can that deserves repeat viewing. I think there's gonna be a lot more things you pick up, especially with the whole Nick Fury and Maria Hill are Skrulls.
Oh yeah.
And I wonder how many other people are Skrulls.
Sure.
But like I can't wait for this to come out on digital so I can watch it repeatedly. This is a much watch for any movie fan or any nerd. Period. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it a lot more than I thought. I thought it was going to be Spider-Man out.
Yeah, I thought I was too. Every time I saw a trailer for it, I was like, I want to be excited, but I just couldn't get myself to be excited from how much Spider-Man content I've already consumed. And again, I left this movie just grinning ear to ear, so having a really good time. So.
We didn't touch on this. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Buffalo
Yeah.
Trace? Yeah, Buffalo Trace is interesting because out of all the whiskey we drank, this is one I've actually never had. And everyone talks about this is a great mid-priced whiskey. It's pretty good. Straight up with ice or in a cocktail. This is, I mean, in my professional whiskey opinion,
Whiskey consumption.
it's delicious.
I agree.
Yeah.
We gave the movies 8s and 9s. What do we give the whiskey?
For the money, 8 or 9.
Okay.
I mean, like, dude, the thing was like $25. So,
Yeah.
like, I've bought much more expensive whiskeys than this that didn't taste as good. Yeah, a lot of flavor, relatively smooth, it's delicious.
Very drinkable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's got some bite. I like my whiskey to bite a little bit.
It's a little like at first smell it smelled very sweet, but then there is
Yeah.
that bite that gets
Yeah.
you that it's like
Yeah.
okay,
I
there's
think
something
from
there.
the smell, I was expecting something a little more like mellow, and then but still had a nice bold flavor. So that was surprisingly delicious.
Well, I believe that wraps up Whiskey Movie Club. If we said something wrong, incorrect, stupid, or something you disagree with, comment below.
It's not an if.
Yeah,
Just
no.
let us
When.
know what we did.
Yeah, let us know what we got wrong. Follow us on social media at Whiskey Movie Club on Instagram, Facebook, and are we on the Twitter?
We should be.
I think
We
we
will
are.
be by the time this is posted.
Yeah, so
Cheers.
here's to swimming with bow-legged women. That was a Jaws reference.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say. This is the fourth.